Hey, thanks for making it Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. Wanted to share with you a little information. I did a video on this a long time ago, and I just thought, I might as well do it again. It's just good to have the information and kind of know where you fall in. So the VA prioritizes veterans based on their percentage of disability. What does that mean? It means that, you could have veteran A who calls in for an appointment and it takes, 5 weeks to get in for your appointment. And veteran B calls in and they get, an appointment in a week. That is something that might happen if you're in one priority group versus the other. So it's important to know what priority group you're in, just for the sake of knowing where you are in the line, right? And knowing what the next stage would be depending on your service-connected rating, overall rating. So with that, I wanted to read to you from the VA's website about the priority groups and what is entailed with each one. So with that, hit the thumbs up for me, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. If you're not a member, consider it. You can hit the join button somewhere. I have no clue where it would be, but I really appreciate that additional support. All right, jump into it here. VA priority groups. Find out what VA priority groups are, how they work, and how they may affect you. What are VA priority groups and how do they affect me? So it says here, I'm sorry, I'm adjusting my screen a little bit so at least I can stare over the phone. All right, so how do they affect me? When you apply for VA healthcare, we'll assign you to one of 8 priority groups. This system helps to make sure that veterans who need care right away can get signed up quickly. It also helps to make sure we can provide high-quality care to all veterans enrolled in the VA healthcare program. Your priority group may affect how soon we sign you up for healthcare benefits and how much, if anything, you'll have to pay toward the cost of your care. What factors will the VA use to assign me to a priority group? We'll base your priority group on your military service history and your disability rating and your income level and whether or not you qualify for Medicaid and other benefits you may be receiving like VA pension benefits. Again, for those that don't know, VA pension is a low and no income kind of safety net program. It is not a retired VA employee program. Pension. I hate that they call it pension. Anyway, we assign veterans with service-connected disabilities the highest priority. We assign the lowest priority to veterans who earn a higher income and who don't have any service-connected disabilities, qualifying them for disability compensation monthly payments. If you qualify for more than one priority group, we'll assign you to the highest one. Priority Group 1. We may assign you to Priority Group 1 if any of these descriptions are true. You have a service-connected disability that we've rated as 50% or more disabling, or you have a service-connected disability that we've concluded makes you unable to work, TDIU, so unemployable, or you received the Medal of Honor. So those are your 3 kind of ways into Priority Group 1. So 50% or higher rating, or you're unemployable, or you have a Medal of Honor. Priority Group 2. We may assign you to Priority Group 2 if you have a service-connected disability that we've rated as 30 to 40% disabling. Priority Group 3. We may assign you to Priority Group 3 if any of these descriptions are true. You're a former prisoner of war, POW. Now, here's the caveat to this. Seems crazy, right? So former prisoner of war, or you've received the Purple Heart, right? So here's my take on this. Priority Group 3 for those 2 classifications, POW and and Purple Heart. POW, Purple Heart, right? So one of those 2 things, they fall into Priority Group 3. Chances are you probably are going to file for disability compensation for something. If you got a Purple Heart or you're a prisoner of war, you might have some PTSD, just saying, which you probably are going to be at 50, 70, or even 100% on that alone. And then any other issues, right, that you may have from your time in service, which was not pleasant. So the fact that that they have them in priority group 3 just means simply that that's all they have. They've never filed for a claim. They've never done anything. All they have is the fact that, hey, look, I have documentation that shows I was a POW, or I have a Purple Heart and nothing else. No ratings whatsoever. So just so you know, right? Anyway. You were discharged for a disability that was caused by or gotten worse because of your active duty service, or you have a service-connected disability that we've rated 10 to 20% disabling, or you are awarded special eligibility classification under Title 38 benefits for individuals disabled by treatment or vocational rehabilitation. So that's priority group 3. Priority group 4, we may assign you to priority group 4 if either of these descriptions is true. You're receiving VA aid and assistance or housebound benefits, or you have received a VA determination of being catastrophically disabled. Priority group 5. We may assign you to priority group 5 if any of these descriptions are true, and there's 3 of them. You don't have a service-connected disability, or you have a non-compensable service-connected disability that we've rated at 0% disabling, and you have an annual income level that is below our adjusted income limits based on your resident zip code, or you're receiving VA pension benefits, or you're eligible for Medicaid programs. Priority group 6, we may assign you to priority group 6 if any of these descriptions are true. You have a compensable service-connected disability that we've rated 0% disabling, or you were exposed to ionizing radiation during atmospheric testing or during the occupation of Hiroshima or Nagasaki, and or you participate in Project 112 SHAD, or SHAD, or you've served in the Republic of Vietnam between January 9th, 1962 and May 7th, 1975. Or you served in the Persian Gulf War between August 2nd, 1990 and November 11th, 1998. Or you served on active duty at Camp Lejeune for at least 30 days between August 1st, 1953 and December 31st, 1987. We may assign you to priority group 6 if you meet all of these requirements. You're currently or newly enrolled in VA healthcare, and you served in theater or in a theater of combat operations after November 11th, 1998, and you were discharged less than 10 years ago. Used to be 5, I think, but they moved it to 10. And this is the important part. You can get enrolled in some cases, right? This is naming the different priority groups. You can get enrolled in healthcare even if you're not service connected, so you can start getting care if you can't afford care any other way, right? So that's important to know. As a returning combat veteran, you're eligible for these enhanced benefits for 10 years after discharge. At the end of the enhanced enrollment period, we assign you to the highest priority group you qualify for at that time. Priority group 7. We may assign you to priority group 7 if both of these descriptions are true of you. Your gross household income is below the geographically adjusted income limits for where you live, and you agree to pay copays. Priority group 8. We may assign you to priority group 8 if both of these descriptions are true of you. Your gross household income is above the VA income limits and geographically adjusted income limits for where you live, and you agree to pay copays. If you're assigned to priority group 8, you're entitled, or your eligibility for VA healthcare benefits will depend on which sub-priority group we place you in. So with that, we'll go ahead and conclude it there, and just wanted to make sure everybody's aware of the priority groups. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you, and remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.